Hey everyone! Today I'm going to be reviewing the latest installment into the Scream franchise, Scream 6. So Scream 6 was directed by the guys from Radio Silence who did the requel, I guess you could call it, of Scream with Scream 5 last year. And I was a pretty decent fan of that last film actually. I quite enjoyed that one a lot. And I was really excited for Scream 6. And I have to say that as far as going and delivering an entertaining Scream sequel, Scream 6 delivered again. So to start off with the positives, I absolutely adore this cast. The new Core 4, as they're called, from Scream 5 are absolutely fantastic. I think they're all just great. Tara and Sam are awesome. I know that I'm probably saying Tara wrong, but just leave me alone. It's T-A-R-A. Tara. I'm not going to say Terror. Because that's funny, actually. Terror. Because that's a scary movie. Get it? Yeah. Okay, but Tara and Sam, fantastic dynamics between them. I love their relationship. And Chad and Mindy are fantastic. I love Chad especially. And their relationship too is just great. And the way they all just hang out with each other, I love. I'm also a massive fan of Kirby, who's a returning character from Scream 4. She was good in Scream 4, but I don't know, I loved her in this one. She was fantastic. And of course we have Gail as well, who is a character that I just fucking despised initially, but I really appreciate her character actually. She has some great redeeming qualities to her. That there's one scene towards the beginning of the film where Sam tries to punch Gail and she like dumps out of the way and she's like, yeah, I've done this before, and then she gets cut off by Tara punching her. That was just hilarious. It just made me laugh a lot. So yeah, the best part of this movie for me is the characters. The core 4 plus the 2 legacy characters are awesome. Another thing that I adore about this movie too is the fact that it takes place in New York instead of Woodsboro. I'm pretty sure Scream 2 kind of ventured out of Woodsboro and Scream 3 ventured into LA for a little bit, but for the most part, these films are almost always set in Woodsboro. And I found this such a refreshing location change. I will admit, it took a little bit of time, not too long, just the first 10 or 15 minutes or so, it took a little bit of time to find its feet in its new setting, but once it did, it was excellent. It utilised the setting fantastically. There are so many just opportunities that the filmmakers had to go wacky and wild with the setting, and I think they delivered. In the trailer, you can see a scene with Ghostface with a shotgun in a convenience store, and that was just sick. And there's also another scene where they're on a train during a Halloween convention and stuff like that. It's all just excellently done. I also think this movie has probably the most brutal and scary Ghostface out of any of them too. I loved all the scenes. There's so many intense scenes with it. They really amped up the gore in this one too, compared to the last few films. I think this is probably the goriest Scream film. It's not the most creative in every aspect, but there are some great kills here. There's some kills that are actually not just, simple knife stabs and gut stabs and stuff. There are actually some different things happening here, which I love to see, and some really gnarly effects, and I was like, fuck yeah. I love the themes of this movie too, where it went with like its kind of take on the internet and the way people are portrayed on the internet and the way people are always looking for the worst in people before the best. I found that to be really compelling, and the way our characters have to deal with that, as well as the repercussions from the events of Scream 5. I just thought it was really well done. I loved some of the set pieces in this thing. I'm not going to spoil any of it, but there is like a really great location which ends up being like the big finale set piece of the film. Kind of a little bit reminiscent of Scream 2's finale, but that's okay because I thought it was just absolutely excellently done and just really memorable. I thought the opening of this film was really damn good as well. I actually was like, holy shit, I didn't realise Margot Robbie was in this movie. I was like, what the fuck? How did I not hear about this? And I went to the cast list and then realised it was Samara Weaving. Which is funny because they're just dead ringers. But anyway, Samara Weaving is great. It was good to see her in something else again. And overall, I found this movie to be really quite funny and entertaining. And for a 2-hour slasher, this movie is 2 hours and 3 minutes, mind you. I never felt the length of it once. This was entertaining from the word go until the credits rolled. Moving on to the mixed aspects, this is something that I was considering putting in the negatives, but considering that I was expecting to have this problem going in. It didn't bother me as much. And that is that the killers were all very predictable. I picked the killers within like the first 20-25 minutes. Like, that's not even an exaggeration. There's just like a few too many red herrings thrown at you to make you think, oh, maybe they aren't the killer. I'm like, no, it's fucking them. Okay, I'm not an idiot. That being said, I actually quite like the killers. I found them to be quite entertaining, quite fun, quite despicable, and really sick and twisted, but also quite campy, which I really enjoyed. I just wish that this movie had just less predictable killers, because this, as far as I'm concerned, there hasn't been really any great, like, shocks since the first movie regarding the killers. Like, you look at 2 and 3, they're just awful killers. 4, the killers are really good, but like, not unpredictable. And 5, they were super predictable. And then 6, they're even more predictable than they were in 5, unfortunately. So I was expecting to go into it not, like, you know, I was expecting to go into it not expecting to be wowed by the killers, but I do wish that in the next movie that we would, you know, get some killers that are really shocking. Moving on to the negatives for this film, I just couldn't believe the amount of insane plot armor these characters had. There was just so many times throughout this film when characters would get shot, they would get stabbed. There's one character that gets stabbed in the gut and like twisted and cut straight up the middle and is just bleeding out. There's another character that gets stabbed probably about 20 times by 2 Ghostface, just everywhere, blood spilling out of their mouth, and it's just like, oh my god, Jesus Christ. This is, you know, brutal. And then, you know, 5 minutes later, they're up and running around and having happy conversations and stuff like that, and just jumping and fighting, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And there was one reveal, like, as soon as someone was revealed to still be alive, I was just thinking, bullshit, they're still alive and survived that. That is just insane. And what pisses me off most about this is the fact that it removes the stakes. For a film where Ghostface is so violent and visceral and angry and the kills are bigger and bloodier than ever, just the fact that all these characters just were able to get out scot-free, it was just like, there's no way that this would happen. And it makes the stakes feel less high, because once that happens, like, if they survive that, then they can survive anything. What have we got to be worried about? There's also a couple of issues and plot holes I have. They're not massive, but regarding the killer's identity, which I won't spoil here, it just, some scenes on rewatch, you're like, how the fuck did this character not realize that this person was a killer? Like, they must have, like, there's just things that don't make sense, and like scenes when, like, you know, one Ghostface is on the phone to the other Ghostface, and that other Ghostface is there by themselves and freaking out and stuff like that, and they're like, oh shit, but there's no one else there, so it's only putting, you know, on a play for the audience, really. I didn't hate the killers, as I said, I did quite like them, but there's just the plot armor and the kind of inconsistencies and things that don't really add up kind of bothered me. And I'm someone that's all for suspending disbelief to have a little bit of fun, so that's why it didn't, you know, bother me that much. They're only kind of nitpicks. I don't really care about it. But I just wish that it was just a little more solidly executed and not quite so sloppily written in some scenes, especially regarding the insane amount of plot armor they have. But overall, guys, Scream 6 was an absolute blast. I loved this movie. I thought it was so much fun. It's probably my favourite of the Scream sequels, and it's almost my favourite in the franchise, because although the first one is probably a little bit more solid, this one just, I don't know, I found this one to be super refreshing, and the problems it does have really don't bother me too much. I just thought that this movie was entertaining as hell from start to finish. I'm going to give Scream 6 3.5 stars. That's all for today. Let me know what you think of this movie. I think it's absolutely worth watching if you're a fan of the Scream franchise. And I will see you all later. Bye.